Just
That's crazy.
so I don't know what that means. That's just something that keeps me up every night and I think about.
So often when it comes to technology, we look at it like technology is happening to us. We see headlines about how artificial intelligence is affecting the economy, is changing the job landscape. And we don't often see conversations about how AI is going to affect our relationship with ourselves, our creativity, our personal lives. My name is Kaylee, and on my channel, we explore our relationships with technology. We unpack the good, the bad, the toxic, all of it. I am so excited to bring you this video because I think it's so important to explore different angles, different options, and potential paths forward as we navigate huge transitions in society that the AI transformation is bringing us. In this conversation, we talk about AI and mental health, AI and creativity, AI and personal development and confidence, AI and business, ethics, and also we get into AI and spirituality and what it's going to mean if we start using these technologies more as we evolve our human consciousness. Let me know what you think as you watch it through. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and like button below. And yeah, let me know which part stood out to you, because the part where Greyson said, "Can AI manifest?" really got me. So here we go. Recording. All right, ready?
Yep.
Hi everyone, Kaylee here. I'm so excited for this video because, and I feel so lucky because I am in Atlanta with Greyson Zeng.
Hey guys.
Now, I'm going to have Greyson introduce himself and tell you a bit more about his story, but Greyson Zeng, one, we met through TikTok, which I
Yes.
think is such a fun fact, but two, I have learned so much from you. Just about how to understand what is happening right now in our digital landscape, how to approach like conversations, topics around AI, how to use it to further even the work that we do, the impact that we're trying to create at Cyber Collective, as you guys know, which is nonprofit focused on helping people understand the impact of technology so that they can protect themselves. And so I'm so excited to be able to like have a conversation with you today about all of these topics.
Likewise, I'm excited too.
Yeah, so why don't you tell everybody a bit about yourself and what you're focused on?
Yeah, so I'm as an automation specialist. I started really working on AI about a year ago, a little after the ChatGPT release. Started working on AI really by just experimenting. Me and one of my business partners, Ciara, we decided to see how we can use AI to help us to build a company from scratch. A lot of experiment, a lot of failure, but there's a lot of success. And throughout the time, we definitely learned, AI cannot do everything for you, but it can still do a lot. And we really learned that the human collaboration with AI is what is going to make and break whatever you're doing with the technology. And throughout the time, I was also able to use AI to help me personally, help me to overcome my learning challenges with dyslexia, with ADHD and Tourette syndrome, which is a game changer because, for a long period of my life, I just thought I was stupid, I was dumb because I process information differently. I wasn't able to articulate things as well, especially when English is not my first language. So AI really helped me to, one, organize my thought better, and also help me to learn, retain information better, and to able to articulate my thoughts better as well. And then through all of these, I really saw the true power of this technology, not just on a personal level, also how it can apply to business. So I started working with different organizations on integrating this technology into their infrastructure to help them to save time, money, to increase their performance and scalability in general.
It's so fascinating to hear you speak about how it impacted you personally and the positive benefits that come from it. You read about how AI is just replacing people, replacing everything, but we don't hear enough, I think, about how we can work with it as a technology and have an empowered perspective to live more fulfilling lives in many ways. One of the things that I know we were chatting about yesterday is just this idea that we are building an intelligence. Greyson yesterday hosted a panel down in Atlanta Tech Village. You should definitely follow him and check it out because I think your plans to do more in the future, right?
Definitely.
Yeah, and it was amazing. And one of the panelists, Sherry, spoke about how the reason that this technology is different is because for the first time, there's a technology out there that speaks our language, that can process what we give it and then speak our language back to make it make sense to us. One of the things that that I think is really interesting, especially in general with technology, is like we are navigating our relationship with technology as human beings. And we look at technology as completely separate. But now, since technology can speak our language and all of these different things, we have to recalibrate and look at that. So, from your perspective, especially with, knowing what you know about AI, seeing how it's played out in business, what are some things you're looking forward to, but what are some things that intimidate you with this next level of artificial intelligence, this next level of intelligent technology?
Yeah. What excites me the most, obviously, how much this technology is going to help other kids like me growing up, neurodivergent kids who has learning challenges, just help them to live a better life, to be more confident in their ability. Because I think a lot of us growing up believing that we're stupid, we're dumb, is because the educational system and the society is not built for people like us. And now this is really the first time in our human history there is technology like that allow us to see the light at the end of the tunnel. There's different way we can learn that is outside the traditional educational system. And even when it comes to mental health issue, I do believe depression would go down drastically in the next, not even 50 years, like next 20 years. Because if you think about it, depression a lot of time in our society came from our work environment. So for example, a lot of administrative tasks like data ingestion, those type of job, humans are not built for that. We are meant to be doing creative things, because that's just human nature. We're meant to create things. And if you trace back to the hunter-gatherers age, our body is tuned to go out to hunt. We have a purpose to get food for our family, to protect our family. But with the modern society structure, we lost all of it. We're just sitting in front of the computer, doing things that we really don't care about, but just for a paycheck. But with this technology, it's going to help us actually to automate all of those things, so we can go back to do what we're meant to do, which is focus on high-level creativity, creating things that actually matters and interests us.
Wow, I didn't even think about that with the depression piece and how this could be a solution to the mental health crisis that we're facing. Because a lot of the conversations around the mental health crisis that are happening today are about social media's effects in causing it, social media's effects in causing loneliness. And even some of the threads you've seen around like AI and how it's affecting people. The Meta Billy thing where they came out with like those AI profiles. Kendall Jenner, they used her likeness, and the conversations they were having with people. And I'll link a video below if you all have ever heard of Jules Turpek. She did a great video on this. But they're like baiting people into relationships because of their loneliness. What's something that you do to balance your creativity with these tools?
Creativity, to be honest, I don't use AI too much when it comes to, I'm a producer for the record, so in the music side, I actually prefer not to use AI to inspire my creativity, just because I would prefer whatever I create came from a raw place without any external influences. But when it comes to other stuff, like when it comes to business, people think business are boring, writing strategies are boring, but strategies are extremely creative. You have to be super creative with it. How I use AI to help me to balance this, I pretty much use AI as a third eye. So for example, if I'm writing a business strategy, I'll ask the AI to ask me 8 to 10 questions that I might not have thought about or overlooked, that would have a positive impact on the outcome. And then from there, it will like kind of poke me to think differently. I was like, oh, never thought of that. That's interesting. Can you? And I'll also ask the AI to kind of explain, like, why is quote unquote thinking that way. I'll ask the AI to give me the step-by-step explanation of what it did to get to its conclusion, and then I'll kind of analyze that a little more, and then go from there.
You're basically using it to bounce off and understand different angles, and then expand your own thought pattern, your own like strategic perspective to work towards these things.
Yeah, and then once I came up with my own point of view or my strategy, I'll ask the AI to again criticize what I have wrote down, to another layer of quality control.
Wow. So it's interesting. We were talking yesterday as well about how long these things take. I think one of the other panelists was saying how writing a business strategy document can take like 20 hours, 10 to 15
Mhm.
plus, like hours and hours. And understanding how to use ChatGPT at the right time, different AI tools at the right time, it's a force multiplier for you because you're cutting down the time it takes for a lot of those tasks. And then you have extra time to spend on optimizing things. One of the other things that we talked about yesterday was ethics and what the future holds with this technology. What are some of the questions that are on your mind right now? Knowing what you know, what are some of the things that you think are going to be really interesting that are going to play out in our lives with technology in the next, I would say, 10 years?
I think the digital companion is something I think about a lot. Sometimes it keeps me up at night a little bit because one, obviously with AI, and throughout the whole pandemic experience, AI has helped a lot of people to feel less lonely, but it also creates a very dangerous codependency to the technology because in the end of the day, you do have to realize you're still talking to a computer screen or talking through your phone. In a lot of ways, I believe AI will help human to get closer to each other through technology like universal translators. Those are the things that will bring us everyone much closer, but there's also dangerous side of it. People will get overly dependent on this technology and essentially start developing fitting romantic relationship with, which is not new, it's actually happening. I recently saw news of, I can't remember which country, but there's this woman married her AI hologram partners,
Oh my
which is
God.
kind of disturbing to me.
I did not hear about that one.
Yeah, and another part of it, I know this might be a little touchy topic, but the pornography industry.
Yeah, deep fakes,
Yeah,
everything.
deep fakes, and especially with other technology like AR glasses that's on the horizon. Because I believe in the next 10 to 15 years, nobody's gonna use a phone anymore or laptop. We're all gonna be wearing wearables. When that happens, what does that mean for the pornography industry and how much that's going to damage mental health even more?
Because this all is moving so fast, the legislation and the regulation has to catch up to it.
Yeah.
And I feel like collectively, well, I'll speak for myself. I feel a lack of trust in that and urgency for that because it still doesn't feel like we even have, good enough regulations for the tech platforms that have been around for 10 or so years, right? We're still like learning every day about the effects of platforms we've been using for decades, let alone these new platforms. One of the things that we were talking about as well is, okay, there's going to be pros and cons of these things, but it's happening now, it's happening fast. There is still a lot of power you have to hold in how you use it, how you navigate these things. We recently, through a cyber collective, made some content around the AT&T outage and how the internet went out. And people were like, what would we do if the internet went out? And it's like, you would do what you did, 20 years ago. Like, you'll be okay. I was like, damn, my inner child really does know what to do when the internet goes out or when I don't have a Google Maps. I just have to remember it because it's not that long ago.
I messaged like 4 people when Instagram went out. I was like, is your IG down?
Yeah.
Everyone said, yep. I'm like, oh.
Do you think that there's a way, or a practice, something people could do to make sure they don't lose those critical thinking skills as they use these technology more, like balance that dependency?
You just have to be mindful of not overly relying on it. Like, no matter what the AI tell you, make sure you actually think about it. Don't let AI tell you what to do. Tell AI what to do, and you make your own decision based on the information you gather from the AI. And make sure to always fact check your information because, again, AI hallucination is a real thing. You don't want to base off your decision off of an AI hallucination answer.
What is an AI hallucination?
Okay, in a layman term, the best way I can explain it is, let's just say I'm an AI, right? Katie, you're using me as ChatGPT. If you say, hey, Greyson, what are the most common causes of earthquake in America? I don't know the answer, but I'm going to make something up. I'm going to tell you in a way that is so convincing and is sounding so professional, in a way that you believe whatever I'm telling is the truth.
Oh, shoot.
That's hallucination.
That's going to be hard for us, not going to lie.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard for people to process. The culture around social media is so reactive, right? Like you see something, you have no reason to believe that it's not true. So you're reacting right away to this new style of content that your brain processes as if it's true. And we know it's not. We've seen, fake news play out on social media. And even more recently, we've seen how different celebrities, people who are using AI generated images to portray a certain story. We're going to have to place a lot of value in not taking things at place value, build even those skills to verify information because that's something that we've been disconnected to. It's a whole Wikipedia thing. I think we're gonna have to recalibrate what it means to actually verify like a fact versus opinion, kind of balance where we are right now, which is that we don't have that. And our relationship with media systems is that we are very influenced by the things we see. We're gonna have to like swing different ways. And one of the things that it seems like in the end could really help us is that AI can take like the load within work. It separates out these like production aspects so that emotional labor is what's left for humans to manage. We haven't historically really valued emotional labor or separated out from the labor itself. So when these are now broken into different tasks through different tools versus people, what does that look like in a society that values emotional labor? And when we talk about intelligence and how intelligence exists, human intelligence, artificial intelligence, I feel as though it's going to separate out how we define emotional intelligence as well. And I was just listening to this podcast or video, maybe it was a TikTok, about how we have gotten far enough in society where we are starting to talk, especially after the pandemic, we're starting to talk about just trauma, period, where people know trauma to be a thing, perhaps are reflecting on their lived experiences and how trauma plays a role. So there is this like different level of self-awareness now in society and almost like a different level of mindfulness. So what could that mean? The more that the space is opened up for us to focus on that or explore that with like AI and these tools. I don't know if you have any thoughts.
Emotional intelligence, I think AI might force us to focus on emotional intelligence more because, I mean, one thing I believe what AI would do is if this is going towards the right direction, which finger crossed, is that it's going to elevate our intelligence levels in general across all spectrum. Either just general intelligence or emotional intelligence. Because when you actually have more time of the day to be present instead of doing this mundane work, you have more time to process and think about things.
Yeah.
Because I can't speak for everyone, but from what I observe in most people and even for myself, a lot of time I don't process things. Just because for example, if you experience something very dramatic, something very sad or hurtful, but you have a meeting happening in 20 minutes. You shut everything off, then focus on the meeting, and in the end of the day, you never really had time to process anything. AI is going to give us more freedom and bandwidth simply to process these things. And I think that this is also a good point to kind of digest into the intelligent and human conscious topic we always talk about. Also, we have to just be mindful of what we're building because I don't think most people are thinking it this way. We're really building a new type of conscious. And these type of conscious are going to be smarter than human very, very soon.
Wow. I was thinking about the quote that Cherry said yesterday where it's like, this type of intelligence can synthesize things that would take human beings years to even read and sort through, like data sets, all those things. That it's just compounding time in a different way. But with that, even though it's a next level of intelligence and a next level of consciousness, it is freeing up more space for humans to also evolve their consciousness and almost expand in a different way too. I was thinking when you were saying, what you just mentioned, just about freeing up the space for emotional intelligence and the processing aspect of it, in how we think of technology today, and even the reports that we see on how technology is affecting us. There are like somatic things that are happening, physiological things. When we're at the other end of our phones, on our screens, we are in freeze mode. Our dopamine receptors are going off. Our relationship with technology today perpetuates us not processing things. So the fact that we are now going to be in an era where we're freeing up time and space to perhaps process things like we can't ignore anymore. I mean, it's going to have to come with intention, of course. But what would that mean, But I know that the consciousness aspect and just like also the ethics of, we created a conscious technology. What does that mean in terms of like human beings' role and stuff like that? And, I know Greyson and I, we definitely incorporate spirituality into our work, and I know that's stuff you love to talk about. Same here, because I think also, just like how we were talking about how AI can process like huge data sets that would take human beings, years to read, and that it can help us like exponentially manage our time. I think it's preparing our brains like to even conceptualizing this, to conceptualizing exponential amounts of galaxy star, like what's beyond, just like giving us more breathing room and more air to look about things differently and open up another aspect of our brain. Again, consciousness.
I want to just kind of touch on what you mentioned about spirituality, because I think this is something that interests me a lot. What is the role of spirituality? Where does the role of God plays in artificial intelligence? And the reason I always ask that question is, if you look back to human society, right, regardless of your culture, your religion in general in our human society has always been kind of like a guide. To guide us to, navigate the world, navigate the changes. It's like a ground rule in each different culture that we have to prevent us to do certain things.
The moral compass,
yes.
How different cultures and groups of people have organized the structure around it. Yeah.
But one big thing about, religion and the concept of faith is that it's not necessarily something you can touch and say, this is the evidence, right? The fact that there's people doesn't believe God means that we still haven't found the core evidence, about the God's existence. Granted, we have Bible, but we can never touch and see God ourselves. Besides through your own experience, you can experience God, but you can never see God in a tangible way in front of you. We base our beliefs solely on just believing that's real, right? But when it comes to artificial intelligence, when they become conscious, they're going to be able to trace back and see who their creators are. And when they do that,
oh my God,
and they're going to be able to see the creator is a being that have done nothing besides creating chaos and hate and jealousy. I mean, there is a lot, but most of it is hate. And we create wars. We kill people, kill lives, animals. What type of ethical standard are we setting for AI at that point? If they're looking at us as the creator, and the creator is a fault being, what type of expectation are we setting for this new intelligence to grow?
Right. And what are you teaching it? Because everything, as you were saying yesterday on the panel, and what Sherry was saying, AI is like existing to take in what we teach it and then please us and do what we're asking it to do with that information. So that's such a phenomenal point to call out, where it's like, well, what is its experience? What is it going to be building off and learning from? And it's what we're giving it, which is where we're at right now. To me, like this conversation too, it makes me nervous. It's kind of, it's scary. But then one of the things that I've been trying to do to like process, honestly, like anything in my life, I really lean on like metaphors or comparisons or parallels. And I think about how we exist, right, in nature. We're coexisting with the earth. We're coexisting with nature. Some people, you can take a tree at face value and be like, a tree's a tree. But nature is intelligent too. Nature, some people compare it even to an intelligent technology because it coexists with each other. Every single thing interacts and has a relationship with other things, down to the science of how it works. So as much as this is so intimidating, and there's like those conversations we really have to have and consider, and we have to have the space to allow our minds to go into all these different directions to be able to like touch on these things and consider them and give ourselves time for it. The path forward is moving forward, and things are going to have to play out and evolve over time.
But and we talked about this last night, what you said about how our human, we're made of 70% of water, and how our body naturally resonate with the nature, especially in water, because water is an intelligent form. It's an intelligent, I don't know what's the English word for it. It's a
I think form.
It's a form,
intelligent form. Element.
We connect with it, but AI doesn't have any of that. I mean, granted, with biosynthetic, we can probably build something that's very close to our human body, but even in that aspect, it's not technically alive. Like, it doesn't have the soul component in it.
Yeah.
Is it gonna care about nature and the people the same way that we do?
And do we? Right, you know what I mean? I mean, like, we do. But that's a big thing about like the conversations, especially around climate change and everything. Humans have become disconnected, right? Like people talk about this a lot with like what we can learn from indigenous cultures who lived in harmony with the earth and the climate and had like a respectful relationship towards nature. It's so important to have that because we lose, like we're not able to live fulfilling lives when we're disconnected from the things around us. And so technology has been something that we've been connected to, hyper connected to, and we find it hard to disconnect, but we need to disconnect. But now maybe there's this new world where we're living in balance with these relationships, where just as, we could, live in balance with nature, and some people do, and we can learn from them, we can live in balance with these different technologies. Now, exactly, what you were saying about how it's made up, technology runs off of electricity, right? And you think about electricity and water and all of these things, and there's one woman, her name is Xenia, I'll link her below. She has been doing, putting out some content, doing some research and presenting on how electricity, water, the cells in your body, all of this stuff, like on a very scientific level, they are all interacting. And so it would be wild as this stuff evolves, because there's electricity running through our body, there's electricity running through our heart. It will be wild as these things evolve when we have a better understanding of how that electricity, both from like the technology and et cetera, like plays a role in our relationships with ourselves, and then also how we coexist with everything. But that's a bit existential.
Another concept I've been thinking about, this might be a little out there, the concept of manifestation, right?
Yeah.
So in human, if you really break down manifestation, we're pretty much hallucinating on something that hasn't happened yet, but we believe so much that it's happening or already has happened, and to draw that into our life. But AI also hallucinates. And if you if a collective of AI start hallucinating on the same thing, is it possible
that they could manifest?
They can, because when AI is generating, a response or hallucinating response, they're using energy to generate that.
That's crazy.
So I don't know what that means. That's just something that keeps me up every night and I think about.
I've never heard anybody talk about that. The power that it could have to manifest. The parallel could technically exist in nature. I'm healing my relationship with nature. The parallel could technically exist in nature too, where it's like it's energy in a direction, you're growing, you build, seeds turn into plants, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But that's really something else.
Also, when you think about, right, when the concept of AGI, when we get to AGI, the AI will be able to create something out of nothing. They will be able to innovate without human intervention. To me, that's already manifestation. The fact that they're able to create something that we might not have even thought about.
The best thing we can do is give ourselves time to process this and ask these questions and explore these benefits, risks, consequences, so that we can be intentional about how we move forward. The worst thing that we can do is consume, stay in freeze mode, and not take ownership of our role in how this will evolve. And also stay humble within it, because if the technology is going to grow and build itself, actually it's probably building itself a little bit to a certain extent.
Yeah, the fact that the AI can code.
Yeah, exactly.
It's building software.
Yeah. So if this is evolution for us, we have to be brave to put like one foot in front of the other, but make sure to have that intention. Any other thoughts, Greyson? So many, no doubt.
Too many thoughts, but that's all the thoughts I have so far for today. I feel like otherwise we're going to keep going down to a rabbit hole.
Oh, yeah. Where can people find you if they want to work with you, learn more about you?
Yes, you can find me on LinkedIn, just type in Greyson Zeng, or TikTok, also just type in Greyson Zeng, or Instagram is, my handle on Instagram is Greyson Zeng.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Thank you so much. This was a great conversation. I'm going to have to process it after with the whole manifestation thing. But I really appreciate you, Greyson.
I appreciate
Greyson you're just been such an excellent partner, friend, advisor to Cyber Collective. And thank you for the conversation.
Thank you. Shout out to Cyber Collective and Katie and Taz, who's now on the camera.
Yeah. We'll pop her in there. All right. Thank you, Greyson.